Scott, overall, when you saw that kind of odd little table set up, you saw Kamala kind of hunched down in the middle. I think we've got an image of that if we can bring it up, or some video. What was your initial reaction? It looks like she's a kid at the grown-ups table.
Well, from the perspective of looking at things from a body language perspective, it's fairly interesting because she's set up to look like she's the one talking, everyone's paying attention, she looks important. But the scene that they placed this in is 101 for photography for like an 8th grader or something, because you've got perfectly, the K on the Kim is just as far away from the E on cafe at the end of cafe in that picture. Everything is framed just like it should be, but it looks odd because it was done, I think, by someone who, I hate to say it this way, but someone who's not very good at doing that, or they haven't been doing it very long. Because when you set these scenes up to make someone look important and look like they're supposed to be the person you're listening to and in charge, the scene should be set up a lot differently than that, especially with the height of that table, because she looks like a little child sitting there.
All right, yeah, totally. All right, now we are going to hear a little bit and watch a little bit more. Take a look at this.
Donald Trump said he was going to do a number of things, including allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices. Never happened. We did it. So now, as I travel in the state of Georgia and around our country, the number of seniors that have benefited, that bill would have allowed us to increase seizures of fentanyl. Ask any community in America that has been devastated by fentanyl what passing that bill would have done to address their concern and a pain that they've experienced.
Scott, what are you seeing there?
It's really interesting because we see what's called the bobblehead, where she's going like this and then going like this, and she's talking about Donald Trump, talking about how bad he is and how things aren't working, and how then she gets into the drug problem and all those things. That lets us know that she's got inner dialogue going on up here, and we see tons of that with both of them, with Kamala and Walz. We see that inner dialogue, just thinking about what they're going to say next, and I'm under the impression she's gotten these questions ahead of time, although she hasn't had a whole lot of time to study them and prepare for them. This is one of the ones where she's sort of on the fly, making this up as she goes. That's why we see that bobblehead, the head going up and down and from side to side.
That's so interesting. I didn't know. So when somebody does that, they're trying to get their story straight. They're trying to figure out what they're going to say. Hey, take a look at this, Scott, if you don't mind.
What about the endorsement? Did you ask for it?
He was very clear that he was going to support me.
So when he called to tell you, he said, I'm pulling out of the race and I'm going to support you.
Well, my first thought was not about me, to be honest with you. My first thought was about him, to be honest.
To be honest.
To be honest, right.
The way she was leaning back, take a look at the video one more time, and there's something, I don't know, spent and exhausted. Scott, what are you seeing here?
Well, we're hearing, let's talk about what we're hearing first, because we're hearing what's called fading facts. As she talks, she gets quieter and quieter. She talks about how she was concerned with him. And quite often when someone's being deceptive, they'll get quieter as they get to the answer at the very end of what they're saying will get quieter. We hear that here big time. And we don't see any of the cues that let us know she's actually being sad. This is a put-on sad face. We don't see anything in up here called the grief muscle. We don't see anything in the chin boss. We don't see the sides of the mouth kind of jerkily coming down a little bit on the sides there. We don't see any of those things that show us that she's actually sad. And then she turtles a little bit. She starts getting smaller, which we've seen her do that before when she's being deceptive. So this is I think she was probably concerned with herself, but adds that part in about him, so she makes her look better. Everybody wants to be the hero of their own story, so obviously she's going to do something like that. But in this situation, as she gets quieter, she gets smaller, and her voice goes into fading facts. That right there is chock full of deceptive cues right there. So I don't believe that in the least.